Welcome back to Derry Public Radio. Reporting from the basement of the Derry Civic Center, this is CM Alexander with the news. In fashion, this season's hottest trending looks for the post-apocalypse have been revealed. Ladies, since money is no longer a factor, keep the price tags on everything. Gentlemen, for you, this season is all about matching coats with the boys. You are listening to Derry Public Radio. This is Derry Public Radio. Welcome back to Derry Public Radio, a bi-weekly Stephen King Book Club podcast. I'm one of your hosts, CM Alexander, alongside Joshua Kahn.
Hey, everybody.
And Benjamin Graham.
What's up, constant readers?
And today we are back with another episode of The Sit, where we react to and discuss the most recent episode of The Stand, and Josh is leading our discussion.
Yes, today we just watched episode 4, The House of the Dead. I am shocked that I am excited that we opened this episode with the committee meeting. Just what is your guys' first impression of the committee meeting?
Way more exciting than in the book, in the original miniseries.
My thought of this whole episode is this whole episode felt like they crammed all of the stuff from the middle of the book that was boring.
Yes.
Into one episode.
And they did an amazing job of that.
Yeah, but it still made most of the episode kind of boring for me. I liked having it broken up and simplified, having less bickering over the philosophy of leadership.
Yeah.
But it was still just a lot of people sitting around and talking. And also at the expense of the cooler parts of the episode, which I wish there would have been more of.
Yeah. The flashbacks?
Getting more of Nick and Tom on the road, meeting Julie Laurie. The shootout where we finally meet Dana Jurgens. All that stuff. Wish there would have been more of.
Yeah.
Because it's such a short series. I mean, you could have an episode just entirely about that buildup, and it would have been exciting and awesome. But I think that this episode is where the format, the structure of the show really serves them the best, because that committee stuff and the votes and everything is kind of so boring.
Yeah. What this has done that I think they did better than the book and the original miniseries is this is the first time I've seen this committee and thought, that's a team.
Yeah.
They really have a team dynamic they've built. And I think that the meetings that we saw really built all that. Like this very first one, they're doing the meeting to have the vote for who is going to run things permanently. And the crowd gets out of control. And Franny just makes this aside to Larry, like, who here's managed large crowds of people more often? And he's just like, fuck it. And he gets up and he handles it like a champ and then doesn't overstay when he's gotten the crowd under control, passes it back to Sue. And it didn't need an elaborate plan. It just naturally, the team fell into it. And I thought that was rad.
That Larry handed that guy his ass in the classiest way.
Yeah.
You can do that. And it was perfect.
I guess I'm going to be the naysayer for this whole episode. I did like the episode, by the way. But my one problem, though, I wanted to point out was this is also the scene where it transitions into the vote for leadership, except it doesn't really. It's just suddenly they're like, is there anything else? And Harold stands up and does the almost word for word, I say we bring on the ad hoc committee in toto to lead. And all of the committee look at each other like, what? But if you had not read the book, that would have been just like, okay. You don't get the power dynamic of, well, everyone was kind of afraid Harold would stand up and what he would do.
Yeah.
You don't get that. There's nothing about Harold feeling left out because he feels he should have been on the committee. We get that Harold is turning bad and there's something wrong with him, but his whole, his journal, his rambling manifesto, we don't get. His whole motivation seems to be Stu moved in on Fran, which, to be fair, most of it is, but there's so much more to it. There's so much more to Harold that just isn't there.
I love the grin on his face, though, after he nominates them.
Yeah. I love the dude that plays Harold.
Yeah.
Honest to God, he's amazing.
Absolutely.
I think everybody in this so far has done a fantastic job. Everybody's just killing their roles, especially Tom Cullen made me cry.
Oh my God.
Tom Cullen's good. He's also a good actor. I love him in everything I've seen him in. If you haven't watched Justified, go watch Justified season 2. He's amazing.
After the meeting, we have the wonderful seduction that we all loved when it happened in the book.
I was worried about this.
Yeah?
Because I love Shawnee Smith so much. She is the perfect Julie. She's...
No. The Nadine.
Oh my God, no. I blacked that out because... I take back what I said. I did not love this scene so much. It is disgusting.
So, something that's interesting that we get in this episode, we get the Nadine and Harold, and then later we get Nick and Julie Laurie. And I made the same note without realizing that they both happened in this episode. Thinking back to when we talked about this initially, that both Harold and Julie are children.
Yeah.
Harold's 17 and Julie's 16.
In the book. I don't feel like Julie Laurie is much older.
Yeah, I'm sure they did.
To be fair, yeah.
Yeah, but it clicked that I remember that being the thing that was so off-putting about both of those scenes. And it's funny that they just happened to be in the same episode of the remake. But the seduction scene with Nadine, I really kind of liked it.
It was well done.
Very well done, because the actors put across... It came across as gross as it is.
Yes.
They did not try to make it sexy.
No, they didn't try to feed it to us like it was okay and we should be like, ooh, what's happening?
Yeah, it was like Nadine was grossed out by it. Harold was confused and ashamed when he literally jizzed in his pants. Yeah, it was a very yucky scene. And for that, it was very good.
Yes. What did you guys think about the interpretation of the zoo? I know I'm kind of jumping all over the place, but as instead of a group of people with a bunch of female slaves, it's just one dude in a semi who has set up this trap to get people who are coming by.
I have to admit something here.
Yeah.
You've referenced the zoo a number of times during the sit. And it's been a while, and I couldn't remember quite what you were talking about because I'm like, the stand, okay, did they go to the zoo in New York? Did they free animals or?
No, but that'd be an awesome scene.
And I told myself this lie where Larry and Rita freed some zoo animals. And so when you brought it up just now, I was like, oh, I was wrong. What's he talking about? You meant the human zoo of raped and drugged women.
Yeah.
I liked mine better. It was kinder, gentler. It was a better world.
Yeah, this scene also very unpleasant, very uncomfortable, intense.
This scene was so uncomfortable, intense. It was so powerful that afterwards I lost track of the episode because I was still living in it and kind of replaying it and just recovering from it. That I missed part of the back and forth between Stu and Franny later. And yeah, Harold and Franny, after Harold makes a move, which, okay, guys, ask for permission.
Seriously.
You want to kiss a lady? Super. Ask for permission. It's hot when you ask for permission.
Consent is sexy.
Consent is sexy, yeah. T-shirt. Yep. So he goes in
with Stephen King's face on it. Stephen King's face.
I think Harold... So we're also doing Christine at the same time. And I think Harold should have maybe tried the Dennis move, the 1 kiss, 2 kiss, 3 kiss ring. But he didn't. And of course, Fran rejects him. And they, the next morning, are driving and there's a semi in the middle of the road. And he's like, oh, some douchebag left this here. And we see the driver, dead in the front seat, except he's not dead. He opens his eyes, pulls a gun, and here we have our tragic sex slavering.
I think it was so much more powerful to make it a one-on-one as opposed to the wild shootout in the book is awesome, but it's so much more personal.
It works in the book because it's a book and it has that speed of, oh shit, things went south so fast. But this being a different medium, it makes sense to stretch it out and make it more of a character moment of Harold being browbeaten and humiliated.
I felt
by
bad
this
for
dude.
him.
Oh, absolutely.
It was so tragic. I mean, he's just a kid.
Yeah, this guy, this awful piece of shit, gives this speech of how, like, you know, now it's the strong eat the weak and I can take whatever you want. But I'm going to give you a chance. If you can beat me, you get the pride, he calls it. Gross. And, like, starts fist fighting Harold, meaning starts punching Harold. And yeah, it's sad and he just gets the shit kicked out of him.
He does get in a good punch. He punches him. And I love, it's so real because he punches the guy and he makes he hits him hard. And then he's like, ow! And he's
you hear the crunch. I thought he broke his hand.
But what I loved the most is he pulls his other trophy women out. And during the meeting at the beginning, they were showing close-ups of people in the crowd, and they showed a close-up of somebody, and I'm like, who is this person? We haven't seen this person yet. And then at this point, as he lines them all up, that girl was in the middle, and I just said out loud, I hope that's Dana Jurgens. And it is!
This part, because I didn't notice that she was in the beginning of the episode. So there's Fran and these two other women. And I'm also like, I hope one of them is Dana Jurgens because she's like one of the coolest characters in the book. But I didn't know which one.
Yeah.
And so when they're like looking over at this big rusty pipe that's over on the side, I'm like, okay, which one of them is going to be Dana Jurgens and which one's going to be the other one that's like all like comatose mostly. And it turns out it's just Dana Jurgens.
Because that woman gets surprise shot in the face.
Yeah.
That was wild. But yeah, she bashes his head in, and it's glorious. I'm really glad she got the kill as opposed to any of the guys with guns.
I thought she was going to go for a little more bashing, but I am okay that she stopped. And Stu and Glenn have really good timing. They show up in the nick of time, so this guy's distracted, and that's how they get the drop on him.
Yeah, and you get to see them that night kind of build that traveling team. Greg Kinnear's pissing me off because I love Glenn Bateman, and I'm so upset about it. Just the way he talks Harold like down, basically.
Yeah, he has the same Glenn Bateman speeches without sounding condescending and like shitty. He's just like, oh, you're a man of science. I get that. Or what does he say? I know what's wrong with you. You're a man of science.
Well, and he doesn't even convince him. He just talks him into a corner, and Harold knows it. And he can't argue. And it's so cool.
Good. It's so good.
It's because he is finding a way to compliment him. Like, he's using language that builds him up and being like, yeah, you're disagreeing because you're super smart and attractive and a real go-getter. And
don't look like Jim Carrey at all.
And it's great. And we got to see him eat a payday. And that was great. That was a nice subtle thing. I didn't catch it until you said it then.
Later, when he has on his ski vest, or ski jacket, which is what they give the new Night Watch crew to show the townspeople that those are the crew. And he pulls out a brochure. I thought he was going to pull out a payday because we hear crows, and he's like having this moment where he's looking at Stu, and he has to turn around and breathe heavily because he's upset. And I thought the payday was going to be flags like signed to him, like, calm down, not yet, have a payday.
You're not you when you're hungry.
Different candy bar.
We get the Stu and Fran conversation. Fran mentions her dream about the Dark Man. And I thought that was not a fun Easter egg, but it's something that, we talked about a lot. So I'm really glad they're making the choice to not maybe explore all of these things that are really exciting from the book, but they're really doing a great job of just dropping little nods to all of them. And I absolutely love that.
I think it's okay in this case to do a little more of that fan service because The Stand has been out for a long time.
Right.
We had a miniseries. You can make things less explicit.
Yeah. Also, in this particular case, seeing Randall Flagg chase her down with a coat hanger is a bit much.
Yeah.
When the same amount of like kind of shock value of just the offhanded mention of I'd rather dream of an old lady than Psycho with a coat hanger.
Yeah.
Just that is enough to make you go, why is... Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Although I did want Stu to be like, yeah, I've dreamt of coat hangers too.
I got locked in a closet once. It was rough. Important question. Is The Rock going to show up?
I have never wanted anything more in my entire goddamn life. Holy shit.
Oh, but if he can't because that guy's dead now, and it would make me so sad.
Because
he's the one who wanted to see him.
No, I don't care. So there's Teddy Wyzak, who's like, he's a character, right?
Yeah. No, he's not Harold's buddy in the book like he is in the series, but it's such a great compliment to put onto Harold's character in the series.
So anyway, Teddy in the last episode, I don't even know if we mentioned it, but it was just a one-off bit where he's going through a house with Harold and he starts picking out DVDs and Harold's like, what the hell? And he's just like, eventually the power's going to come back on. I want stuff to watch. We can show him in the rec hall, whatever. And there's this really tense moment that CM talked about with Harold getting mad at Stu and brooding, and we hear the crow, and he pulls out a brochure about the ski patrol and how they use dynamite to control avalanches. And you're like, oh, shit. But then Teddy walks over holding a Blu-ray, and he's like, man, you think The Rock's still alive? And he's just holding a copy of some rock movie.
It's the
skyscraper. I
so bad.
Pray to God we get to Vegas and The Rock is just there as himself.
Yeah.
I love that Harold is like, yeah, man, sure. Yeah, maybe he is. Anything's possible.
If The Rock shows up in Vegas, what do you want to see him doing?
Literally anything. It does not matter.
I want to see him with a microphone bringing Randall Flagg to the podium. Like, just, if you're some man.
I just want him to be in Flagg's crew. You know, they have the cook. What was the cook's name? Trash Can Man, the Rat Man, the kid, not the kid, but there was the one other guy that had a weird deal. He was like a weird gambler. You know who Ace something? It doesn't matter. That whole crew, I just want The Rock to be there.
Yeah. Next we get the spy talk, which God could have been so boring. But
instead, it was heartbreaking.
Yeah. Holy shit.
Okay, how did they... So, of course, we know that Larry votes for, or brings up the name for Judge Reinhold. Wait, what's her name?
No. Judge Reinhold as himself.
Oh my God, that's a great cameo.
What's the judge's name?
Judge Ferris.
No,
that's not right.
Yeah, it is.
So the judge,
Judge Judy,
is a lady, which is cool.
Judge Judy Ferris.
Judge Judy. They talk to her, and then he sends her off. And we haven't really gotten any of her, but somehow I liked her immediately.
Yeah.
And I was sad that she was leaving, and I could feel all of the experiences that they had together in those brief moments. How did they do that?
She had 3 lines. 3 lines. And you're immediately like, yeah, I get this character.
Yeah.
I want to root for this character forever.
Yeah.
Well, I love it because you can't be mad at a strong older lady.
No.
Like, there's just something so cool that she sits there and... Because the first one they go through is Dana, and Dana is like, oh, a suicide mission? Yeah, game on. And then Judge Ferris is like, I'd be a coward to say no at this point.
And you're like, fuck.
And I'm like, oh, Jesus. Because I think in the book also it's kind of a...
He gets why. He's like, I get it. I'm old and it's okay. I'm expendable, but that's okay. I can do this and I'm willing to do it.
And I got that same kind of power from her that was like, this is the thing I can do with the rest of my life to make things better. Mm-hmm. And then the talk about Tom Cullen. How did you guys feel about just from the point of nominating him to the point of the sit down with him?
The sit down with him broke my heart like it did in the book. It was different from the book. They didn't put him under hypnosis.
I'm so glad.
It was, and that was a powerful scene in the book. Yeah, not translating probably as well into the show. And actually we've seen it translated into the show in the original, but he's so genuine and vulnerable and amazing.
I had some weird mixed feelings about this scene because they're trying to toe a line with Tom Cullen. And overall, I think they're doing really well because they're portraying him as a person with mental disabilities, but they are portraying him as capable so that they don't have to hypnotize him because he doesn't need special magical powers from God to be able to do this thing, which is great. But on the other hand, everyone is automatically on board with it. Everyone in the committee, like, no one objects. Fran kind of objects at the end. She's like, well, I could vote no and keep my moral high ground, but I won't because I want to vote with you guys or whatever. But no one, I feel like, no matter how capable he is, I think it would be reasonable for people to be like, let's try and think of someone else because he's a vulnerable person and they're still taking advantage of him.
I think they tried to address that, though, because Glenn brings up the point, can he consent to do this? Like they want to make sure when they talk to him, they know he'll say yes, but they want him to not just say yes, they want him to consent, like really understand and say yes. So I feel like that's how they were accounting for that issue of, taking advantage of someone who might not quite fully understand the situation he was being put in. So I bought it.
That said, the scene where he leaves, that was a fucking heartbreaker.
Ben pointed out that Nick and Tom were wearing matching coats.
They're wearing matching jackets.
And I wanted to cry.
Just as Tom is like, I wish my main man Nick could come with me. And then it pans out and they're wearing matching jackets.
It's so fucking cute.
And it's so cute. And they hug and it's adorable and makes me incredibly sad.
Yeah.
Knowing what is coming.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
Oh,
no. Oh, it just hit me.
Yeah, that's the last time they see each other.
Oh, my God. I'm so upset. It's so upset.
Fucking heartbreaking.
Before the scene, we got that background with Nick and Tom when they meet Julie. I'm trying not to call her Shawnee.
And just being a class A bitch.
Oh, yeah. Horrible. Anyway, she sucks real hard. The actress is doing a great job. Yeah. Because you hate her and you're supposed to. But you see their camaraderie a lot in that scene. And I thought it was really well done.
I'd really love to hear the opinions of this scene, of the Julie Laurie scene, from someone who hasn't read the book or seen the original one. Because within 30 seconds of meeting Nick Andros, they're making out. And I can only imagine someone who hasn't read the book and knows, yeah, that's what happens, going, come on.
Well, really? She does say it's been so long since I've seen another person. Yeah. So I feel like you're like, she's just, it could have been anybody.
She's 16 and what?
She should have met the guy in the semi.
No.
No, she would have destroyed him. You guys know that.
Okay, that's fair.
Should have put that shotgun straight up his ass.
It's foreplay.
Oh, no. No.
Hold of the kid.
Oh, God.
Jeez. All right, are we done yet?
I do want to talk about Julie Laurie a little bit more. Okay, it's delicate, but it happens in all the original series, the book, and now the demonstration of her being so fucking mean.
An ignorant bitch.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She says shitty things, and they have done a lot of good changing the language used in the book and in the miniseries, because everything is being so updated. How did you guys think about how they handle it? Because it's a very delicate scene to make her. She has to be mean enough that you immediately hate her, but obviously they don't want to cross that line back. How do you feel like they handled it?
Pulls out several slurs.
Oh, she sure does.
I don't think they toed the line. I think they went for it.
Yeah.
They let her be insulting and ignorant and just rude and horrible. And they showed Nick's disgust with her that the audience feels. Well, they should feel. If you don't feel that, go fuck yourself, sincerely.
Right. Yeah.
And then Tom got very upset because Tom is living in a world where people are, in general, a little more understanding of people who aren't just like them. And so here they haven't seen anybody for so long, and they meet someone who could be that bridge of communication between them. And she kind of does that for a minute, although still like an asshole. And
she does give him his Nick's name.
Yeah, and then he's like, Nickster. It was so great. But yeah, you see Tom reacting to that, and that's heartbreaking too, because he understands that she is being insulting. And I thought, I hate to see that, but that still happens, and we need to see that. Just like racism still happens. Like, it's still a problem. We can't just hide from it.
I really loved that. Because they're giving Tom a little more agency in this. She calls him a name, and he physically reacts as though he's being slapped, which is heartbreaking. But then he follows it up with the lady who taught him his whole speech that he runs. I forgot her name. But he says, she says that labels are just limitations.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck yeah, Tom. I got really excited about that. But it also made me even more sad at her being so mean, because it just shows how much more he understands.
Yeah. And then when she apologizes and he turns around, and you can tell that he probably would have given her a second chance. Not because he doesn't understand, but because he has a big heart.
Right.
And then Nick was like, hell no, we are leaving. And then she tries to shoot them with a shotgun, and it's great.
Which leads us to I think our final thing we'll be speaking about.
Second to last.
Stephen. Oh yeah, that's right. The Stephen King's cameo.
Yeah. they run from Julian. They hide in that bus stop. And there's a poster for Hemmingford Home, the nursing home.
Confused me. So I was like, why does a little shack out in the middle of nowhere have
She was having a dinner party, and they wrote about it and
with
put it
Stephen King on it?
I love that they just put Stephen King in that photo, because it's very clearly him just photoshopped on top of an existing photo. What did you guys think of that?
Oh, it was great. I loved it. It was fine.
That Hemmingford Home was a nursing home. I hated that.
Oh,
honestly, that might be the first thing in this whole series that I'm like, oh, I hate that change. Because it changes. Mother Abigail is an independent, fucking strong as nails old lady who does whatever the fuck she wants by herself.
Yes.
That's what makes her so fucking cool. And to put her in a nursing home, like, there's nothing wrong, obviously, with being in a nursing home. It's nothing wrong with needing help, but it takes away something from her character, I think.
Agreed.
Disagree. I also thought it was assisted living, and I think that what it's saying is Mother Abigail can still be this fierce woman and also accept help from other people when she needs it.
But doesn't that kind of, I guess, undercut her? I don't know if they're going to do her walking off, like her pride being her downfall. Like the asking for help is kind of is keeping your pride in check.
I don't think so, because I think this is something new. You know, God talking to her like this and leading her through this, and I think it's okay for her to get a big head about it and have this flaw. Like, it doesn't have to be a flaw that she's always had, because this is an entirely new situation that does not normally happen. So you're making a great point, and it makes sense, but it didn't make me dislike it or think it diminished anything.
Yeah.
It's such a small change
that
it's not that important, but it did rub me the wrong way.
I think if we'd gotten more of her, if this was a longer miniseries, they probably would have done that, but it's hard to convey that, all this stuff about her in a flashback. We're not getting as much Mother Abigail, honestly, so far.
And that's what I was wondering about, is I thought maybe eventually, like just before the end of Mother Abigail, we were going to start getting some flashbacks. And I wanted to see, her getting up and, hand pumping her own water, her walking the 2 miles super slowly to the neighbor's house. Like, I wanted to see some of that in her. And by this move, it's just a definitive, we're just not going to get that.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Like I said, it's a small detail, but
there's
I
some
agree.
Disappointment that that means we're not going to see those character traits that kind of make her who she is.
And the last thing that we're going to leave on is the ski resort. As we mentioned, the plan when Nadine comes to Harold and then Harold comes to Nadine, heyo, is that she's going to do whatever he wants until he kills everybody and they can leave and go be with the Dark Man. He needs to come up with the plan. So he finds out that they use explosives to correct avalanches, and essentially with these explosives set the air on fire.
That's a real, controlled avalanches.
Yeah. So that the avalanche doesn't happen while people are skiing.
Okay. I was like, I did not follow that thread exactly. I just knew there were explosives.
And it set the air on fire.
And the day they turn the power on, Harold and Nadine go up and they break into a container, start unloading dynamite. The power comes on. Everyone back in Boulder is super excited. Larry's playing the Star Spangled Banner like he just learned how to use a guitar.
He's concentrating so hard.
I wonder if that actor, got the role but didn't play an instrument and has been just really jamming, just trying to get it ready for this scene. Kudos to him.
But they referenced earlier that when they turn the power on, the team that is not the police force, but
the Town Watch.
The Town Watch is to go around and turn off any excess lights. Who should show up but Teddy Wyzak shows up because the ski resort lights all came on and he's there to turn them off.
Was Harold not aware of that conversation?
He was there.
Expecting that somebody might be showing up to check on those lights?
See, if I was Harold, I would have first thing gone and turned all that shit off.
Or I would have been like, I got the ski resort dibs.
Yeah, that's another thing of Harold. The I'm smarter than everyone Harold isn't really. It's just weird, creepy Harold.
Yeah, because Teddy shows up and Nadine's got this cart full of explosives and he's like, oh, hey, what you doing? What's up?
You got school supplies?
At the ski resort. It's fine.
So great.
He's like, let me help you with that. And she's doing a great job looking like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. And then Harold comes up and he's like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. And we all thought that Harold was going to kill Teddy. But actually, Nadine kills Teddy.
Honestly, we should have known. Harold has shown absolutely no fucking get up and go this whole series.
And Nadine has been less torn. She's all in for the Dark Man.
Yeah.
And probably because it's Alexander Skarsgård. I get it.
We did not see it all this episode.
Are you okay?
I'm not. This episode sucks.
But it's so heartbreaking, one, because Teddy has been like Harold's best friend.
He's the guy who gave him the nickname Hawk.
Yeah.
Yes.
And just to see first of all, the confusion when he sees Harold and Nadine together and he's like, oh, hey guys, because he's told Harold that he likes Nadine. And so I'm sure that was a weird moment for him. And then he gets shot. Harold runs up and grabs him and he just says, run. Like he's still in his last moments. He's looking out for Harold because he thinks that she's going to shoot him next. Yeah. And it's just fucking heartbreaking. And the only reason nobody heard that gunshot is because Larry's down there playing the Star Spangled Banner. And that's where we leave off. It's just a great shot. There's been a few bummers in this episode. Mm-hmm. That was a bummer I was not expecting to wrap
from
things
a
up
character
with.
Who really didn't make an impact on me in any of the other adaptations or work. And I'm like, dang it. I want this. I don't want that guy to die.
Yeah, they put in just, I think, the perfect amount of work to make him charming and endearing for these first 4 episodes.
And I appreciate that so much, because normally you get a TV show that kind of has that like thought at the last minute, so they haven't put in that groundwork. And to have that here, it just tells me that everybody involved is really thinking about what they're doing and cares about it. And I love that.
So let's go around. Any final thoughts on this episode? Anything we didn't get to talk about that you want to talk about? Anything you're looking forward to for maybe next episode?
I'm hoping that Alexander Skarsgård is in the next episode.
Of course.
That's it.
I swear to God, if we do not get Trash Can Man next episode, I'm rioting. That being said, I would be willing to bet next episode takes place almost entirely in Vegas.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
I'm really hoping next week is Vegas week.
Just like on The Bachelor.
That's it for this episode of Derry Public Radio. As always, thank you for listening. Join us next time when we cover the next episode of The Stand. For Joshua Kahn and Benjamin Graham, I'm CM Alexander, reminding you, you don't have to lie. Just don't say more than you know. Hey everyone, CM Alexander here. Thank you for listening to the 4th episode of The Sit. We hope you're enjoying this new format for this new miniseries. I'm sorry I don't have any outtakes or behind the scenes stuff for you guys this time. I'll just ask that you check us out on social media. If you haven't already done so, you can find us at Derry Public Radio, or you can send us an email at derrypublicradio@gmail.com. As always, we have the website constantreaders.org for everything Stephen King and Stephen King adjacent. And if you're looking for more perks and bonus episodes and merch, please check out our Patreon, patreon.com/derrypublicradio. That's all for now, listeners. Goodbye.